everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I have my good friend jctomines, which I literally just found out how to pronounce his name after 10 years of knowing him. I said JC, is it JC Thomas? Like,
it was close. It was close.
Say hello to everybody, JC.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Michelle, for having me here. It's really an honor, and I've been really, looking forward to it all week. I know your channel is amazing. I watch you, and I can't believe I'm on it right now. It's pretty crazy.
You're so sweet. Thanks. This is gonna be a lot of fun. This is gonna be such good information for people. Today we're gonna be talking about buying a home in 2020. We're gonna get tips from a realtor. Stacey, how long have you been in realty here in Orlando?
In Orlando, I've been doing it 4 years, but I've been around it all my life. My mother was a real estate broker, but I've just been around it. But I never really absorbed anything in my younger years because I didn't care. Now that I'm doing it, it's all coming back to me, screaming back to me, refreshing my memory on what it really is.
I hear you. So pretty much diving in, you and I, we live in Orlando. And I recently read an article that says you need to be making $24.43 in order to be able to afford rent nowadays. And that is based off of fair market value or something like that for a 2-bedroom, and then which is like $1,270 around that ballpark. And it also stated that Central Florida is probably one of the most severe, it has the most severe affordable housing problems in the country. And Florida is the 12th most expensive state for renters. So what's your take on that?
Well, my take is hearing it's a scary thought. I mean, $24. And actually, when you said $1,200 for a 2-bedroom, I found that more on the generous side. A lot of my clients have been paying, if you want to be in a decent area in Orlando anyway, it's anywhere from $1,400 to $1,700. And my thought is people are doing it. So, it's really surprising. They're finding a way, whether it's picking up, another job or having roommates. And what I've noticed is when they pay that high rent, a lot of times they find it more convenient to just purchase a house. A lot of times it's the same amount or slightly cheaper. I have my most recent client came from Tampa, $1,600 a month for a 2-bedroom. He's got a family of 3, and I just recently got it into a 5-bedroom home. It's the same. The mortgage is the same amount as the rent. So a lot of times people will just discover that and decide to buy a home. A lot of people who live in apartments or rent have aspirations of buying. But as far as the $24 thing, that's pretty crazy. It's scary if those in fact are the real numbers or even close to it, but people are finding a way from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I know tons of people that are, spending an arm and a leg just to rent. And I get it. Sometimes people don't necessarily want to, quote unquote, set roots or, they think that buying a home is like really settling down and they don't imagine themselves staying in a certain area for X amount of time. I don't know. Everybody has their reasons. But me personally, I lived in Southern Alabama for 2 years. And granted, it's, based on location, but I was spending $1,075 for a brand new 2-bedroom luxury apartment. It was beautiful, but I was only paying $1,075. And then I come back here and then I'm like, great, I'm not going to have that luxury, especially in Orlando, maybe surrounding areas, obviously, but that is definitely not something that I'm going to find in Orlando. So
what did you end up doing? You ended up getting like a roommate, right?
So right now my roommate is my boyfriend.
But that's exactly what I'm talking about, how people are making it work,
Which also happens very organically too. But right now we have 2 incomes. We're making it work with rent, with all the bills and stuff like that. I mean, I guess going off on a tangent, I'm pushing for a house, in the near future.
Okay.
But that's just me. But Yeah.
I have no doubts that you're going to get there. You're Michelle, so you usually end up getting what you want from the time that I've known you. So
I appreciate that. I got some negotiation skills. So is 2020 the right time to buy a home?
Pre-COVID, like many, I myself was really scared, especially being in real estate and being this being the source of my income. I really was expecting somewhat of a not crash, but the market slowing down. I really was expecting that. And what I was scared of is I was in the middle of flipping a home. I also flip homes, and the work just got done March 10th. And I believe COVID, the quarantine and all of those things came out about 4 days later, the 14th. So I was really scared. I was scared for myself. I was scared for my clients. I was just scared for the market. Um, and I just kept waiting. All right, what's going to happen? I pay attention to the MLS, the multiple listing service, every day, and nothing really affected it. The numbers are still great. People are still buying. The home that I was looking to flip actually went under contract 2 weeks into COVID, which I was shocked but happy at the same time. So that went ahead and got done, and then I was expecting more worse things to happen, but I kept having clients continue to buy homes, which I'm not going to argue about. And the only thing that I could come up with and ask and see for myself is, though people unfortunately lost their jobs or furloughed, the ones that were able to keep their jobs, especially from big corporations, is they were just working from home. So I noticed people in IT, customer service, a lot of people from Spectrum, or you name it, they're just working from home. So they were continuing to be employed and still work towards their goal of purchasing a home. And even today, that's just what I'm continuing to see. People are still buying homes. They're still employed. Unfortunately, again, there's people who are furloughed, and they would probably have to wait until things get better. But for the most part, and seems to be the majority, they're still moving forward and purchasing homes and selling homes.
Yeah. I think that's good to hear, especially for someone that's definitely thinking of moving in that direction. It's good to hear. You never know. This pandemic kind of threw everybody in for a loop, obviously in every industry. So, I have seen it myself too with other realtor friends that, they're still in business. They're still selling homes. They're still, it hasn't really affected too many of my realtor friends. So I think that's awesome. That's a positive.
A lot of times if the market does not crash, but the market is slow, it's also great opportunities for investors, so the investors will also continue to buy homes. I myself, I'm in contract to buy another home to flip. A lot of people call me crazy, but I mean, I don't really think it is. I mean, I have a great feeling it's going to be bought again. Is it risky? Sure, but what isn't, right? So
you gotta take a risk to get reward.
Nothing good is easy anyway. Yeah.
Exactly right. And another question, and this might be like a common one. I've always kind of thought of it this way. Do you need a huge down payment to buy a house?
No. In layman's terms, no. Especially for a first-time home buyer. I mean, you can get assistance, down payment assistance. There are qualifications for that. That's, I mean, if your income is, I wouldn't say challenged, but a little bit on the lower end, maybe 30 to, I believe, 43. It changes all the time.
Okay.
You can get assistance, literally pay nothing going into a home. Or if you do put money down, 3.5%.
Okay.
3.5 for an FHA loan. But there is closing costs, and as long as you have a good realtor by your side, they will be able to negotiate it less or have it negotiated to where the seller pays for it. So, but 3.5%, so 200 grand, $7,000. A lot of people get that back on their tax return. So it's all depending on how you care to spend it. But no, you don't need a huge amount. Though the bigger amounts will go if you are purchasing an investment home and maybe your second home. but no.
Growing up, I always thought you needed like 20,000, 30,000, some astronomical amount, just like that you would have to just save for years. And then
there is a stigma with real estate where you need thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But in reality, especially with the clients I tend to work with, a lot of them are first-time home buyers and families that are starting out. Me being a family man myself, those are the ones that usually come to me because we relate a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, with children, a lot of times they don't have 20%, 10, not even 10% down. With the FHA loan, which is the 3.5%, that helps them out tremendously, and they're able to move on to that chapter in their life and have a yard, have an open concept, which everyone's really into. So
exactly
yeah.
Right.
So the answer is no, you don't need that much.
All right. So what's your one of the many that, throughout this pandemic, you racked up a couple of thousands of dollars in debt? Does that cause a red flag if you're going through the process, or is it more looked at as debt to income ratio? What does that look like?
Well, you know what? The credit card game is kind of complex when it comes to applying for a loan. So what they really look at, yes, is debt to income is one, and your credit score, but they'll look at evictions and they'll look at bankruptcy.
Oh, okay.
So what I recommend people who are looking to buy a home is to get your credit card debt under 30%. All right. A lot of times that'll skyrocket your credit score, and it also looks great to the bank that you're not maxing out your credit cards and living by that small amount you have left. Right. So, yeah, and also a big thing, a lot of people are under the impression that if you have a student loan, it's over. No, it's not over. Again, it goes down to debt to income. Comes down to debt to income. So if you have a student loan and it's $150 a month, as long as your income is there, you can still qualify to purchase a home. So just because you have a student loan does not mean you're out of the running, but do not default on it, because that's another red flag. So, and if you are in default, it's as easy as giving them a call and just arranging something with them. Even, a lot of times they'll take $100 and then you just negotiate with them and say, hey, I'm going to start paying. But I'd like to have it out of default. And that will skyrocket your credit score. And a lot of times your lender, and I'm not in lending, but just being around the industry, a lot of times your lender will tell you the steps on how to go about that. So 30%, 30%, keep up with your, payments with your credit cards, but do not go in default in anything. Okay. And if you do, it's not the end. You're just going to have to work your way out of that hole, just like everyone else. Yeah.
Exactly right. I know when it comes to student loans, I deal with students all the time. I'm in admissions. I've been in admissions in colleges and universities now for like 3 years. And I see it all the time. People go in default for so many different reasons. So you can call them. You can get on a payment plan. Sometimes it's as low as $5.
Yeah, it's what is it? I believe it's called a student loan forgiveness program.
Right.
And a lot of times their credit is being dragged down because of the default. And if you enter that, from what I understand, what a client told me, if you enter that and just make your minimum $5 payments, and if you can't do that, I don't know what to tell you, but and then after I believe 6 or 7 months of consistent $5 payments, you're out of default.
Exactly.
for $30, $40. And then it's going to be submitted to another creditor, and then you're going to rearrange your payments. It'll probably be a few $100s, like a car payment. But again, if you're working and making the income and the debt to income, and you have margin there, then you still have a shot at being approved for a home.
That's awesome. We're big fans of Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone. Grant actually made a YouTube video and said that buying a home is one of the dumbest investments that you can ever have, because he says that the house that you have to pay the house doesn't pay you. So what do you think about this?
You know what? I can't question a guy like Grant Cardone. He's made millions of dollars.
Right?
I'm not I haven't made that kind of millions yet. But
Yeah.
You know, I've spoken to a lot of investors, and we would have that conversation. And what I've noticed is it's preference. It comes down to preference. In my opinion, if for the home that you purchase to live in, like my home here, I believe that, yeah, I mean, it doesn't pay you. It's going to take a long time because you're paying interest. Majority is interest. I mean, to actually see equity here, it's going to be a while. That's just my thought. It's going to be a while, but buying a home and it not paying you, I disagree with that part because I've physically seen it done for myself, especially when I invest in a home. I've seen it pay me. I would pay this amount and get this amount back. And you know, so I don't agree in that aspect. But for your main home, yeah, I might be on board with him a little bit as far as it not paying you. And if it does, it's going to be a while.
Mhm.
But it shouldn't discourage you from purchasing a home because I believe one of the things he said was it keeps you mobile. I believe you know you have the flexibility. It keeps
Yeah.
you mobile. But I mean that's interesting. If you are a person who is you know likes to travel, doesn't have a family, I think that's great. You probably want to keep your options open. But someone like myself, who has a family, I'd like a place to call home. So whether it pays me back, or if it pays me back, or it pays me back a little bit down the road, I'd rather have my money go towards that.
Mhm.
But again, it comes down to preference. Depends on what you want to do. You know, like you were a bit of a traveler. So I mean, buying a home at you know at that time probably wouldn't make sense for you. But
Mhm.
if you found yourself back in Orlando, there's got to be something here that you really like about it. So if you do find yourself that you're probably gonna live here for years and years, then I would do it. But I don't know if Gary Vee said that though. I know Grant Cardone definitely said it.
Said he touched on it, but I don't think he said that it's the dumbest thing you can do, or what did he say? It's one of the dumbest investments. I think Gary is also like one to be like, do whatever makes you happy. He's not one to kind of tell you what to do. He's just
I
like,
never disagreed with Gary Vee. Like it's so weird. I've heard a lot of speakers, but there's rarely something he says that I disagree with. Now, when I speak to other colleagues about Grant Cardone, a lot of I've heard the remark where, well, he's got to change up his material. His main focus point now is selling books. It could be, I don't know, but Grant Cardone, I know for a fact, made his money initially through real estate.
right.
So when he turns around and says that, it keeps you on your toes and in awe and intrigued to possibly buy some more of his books. So
Yeah, I mean, and I understand his take on it because he's investing in multifamily units. He's over here buying buildings, okay? And people are renting units from his buildings. He's an investor. So obviously it makes sense to him, even commercial units too. So he has so many buildings.
with the commercial side, I just wanted to, you know, just inform there might be a slight that part of the market might slow down a bit because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses are finding out that they don't need a commercial space in order to function.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually starting to realize that again, with everyone working from home,
Mm-hmm.
they're seeing that, you know, why am I spending, you know, X amount of dollars for this space when we really can still do our job virtually? So there might be a slight slowdown with that. But I'm with the Grant Cardone multifamily units. I 100% agree. That's where it is. That's actually what I'm working towards. But if you're not buying it cash, which I'm sure he buys it cash, me, I would finance something like that and wait for the money to come in. But again, it'd be financing. He's right with the multifamily units. I'm gonna that's what I'm working towards. It's a matter of finding the right space. So, and you'll probably see it. I'll probably put it on Facebook. The next thing I'm going to try is I'm going to purchase a home zoned for multifamily.
Okay.
This will be after this project because I need this money to fund that project. I'm going to buy a home and turn it into a multifamily home. You know, so what I would do is I would look for a home where there's bathrooms on opposite sides of the home. So basically, it would be a wall that's separating it. And I would do it in the same area where I've been flipping, and that area would be close to UCF. I've been finding a lot of deals there, and
do you understand how many colleagues back when I used to attend UCF that would be renting rooms for $300 from people that were just literally just renting their rooms?
Yeah. There's efficiencies. I was doing some research. I'm like, what is an efficiency cost? Because you know what? You can turn, with the zoning and permitting aside, you can turn a garage into an efficiency if you do it right. So you would have the garage, the main home split into two. So that's 3. That'd be 3 doors in one property. And efficiencies go for $800, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, duplexes anyway. They're anywhere from 1,100 to 1,300 in that zip code. So 1 unit already can pay that mortgage, and then you just be cash flowing, which is the American dream. That word itself, cash flowing. I still yet have to try that. That's next on the list. But unfortunately, flipping is all I know right now. But I'll get there though.
Would you consider that a passive income?
Yeah. Especially when you're in real estate, it's straight up commission. So it'd be nice to just continue to have something. I think I forgot who said this. Could have been Gary Vee. I don't know. Successful means making money in your sleep. So that's my ultimate goal. I know it's not everyone's, but that's currently what mine is, and I'm not there yet. But I'll let you know when I get there.
You're gonna get there. You're gonna get there. I have heard that also. Granted, there are different views of success too, because some people might consider success as just literally being happy. Regardless, like you can make $80,000 a year, but if you really get up and enjoy what you do, and you wake up and you're so excited to go to work, or you work for yourself, you know what I'm saying? It just success to them could just mean ultimate happiness, that they wake up every day, they're happy with what they do. Or, success to others is multiple streams of income, passive income here, passive income there. They have their bread and butter. So really, I guess it just depends on how you view success and what your definition of success is.
100%. Again, and I've been using this word a lot, but it just comes down to preference. Everyone's got a different preference. And that's something I've had to learn. No, it's not everybody wants what you want. And and I love the fact that people find success not in money, and that's rare. And you just don't find it, and when you do see somebody like that, it's really inspiring.
To wrap it up, do you have any other tips that you'd like to throw in here in regards to buying a home in 2020?
The tip, I told everyone the tip, which is, just keep your credit right and all that stuff. But I do have advice.
Let's hear it.
My advice is for the people in your 20s, the sooner you could obtain real estate, the better. I wish I would have done that. When I was in my 20s, my brother and I, we were able to get a townhome, but we just stopped at that. If you were able to do that in your 20s and be able to get a few homes, rental units, I promise you your 30s will be pretty comfortable. So if you could do that, you know what I mean, or just keep yourself surrounded by like-minded people who also want to do that, you can partner up and do that, as an investor. And again, people might contradict me and because they probably found a different way, but as an investor, real estate is, I don't want to say the most has the best guarantee return, but it's the most consistent. I've dabbled stocks and other things like that, but for me, real estate seems to be the most consistent. So if you're 21 and that's in your mind, go for it. All right. And yes, you're normal. It's normal to want to go out and party and all that stuff, but that feeling stays there when you're in your 30s, and it's pretty cool to be comfortable in your 30s. So I don't think that just because that's a long way away, that's not something you want to do. Again, surround yourself with people who have those kind of goals. And again, your 30s will be comfortable, and you'll just look back and not have to struggle. And you'll probably just be watching the other people struggle, which isn't cool. Cut that part out. That's not cool. You don't want to see other people struggle.
But that's a good tip, JC. I'm going to go ahead and leave your information down in the description box for whoever wants to reach out to you. Let them know where to find your information, like your Facebook page and all that.
Well, I'm the only jctomines on Facebook, and for Instagram, it's jc/realtor/investor. Usually all over social media, showing you some new homes, old homes, investment homes, condos, whatever. Orlando or Central Florida just has so much to offer.
All right, JC. Well, it was awesome having you on here today. Thank you so much for being my amazing guest.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad I was a part of it, and I'm honored that you contacted me, and I'm honored that you're still my friend.
But if you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that like button for me. And if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.